Yeah, this individual, yes, and not know anything about, but be ready to discover.
Yes.
Get into a relationship with this person, then the ice is broken already.
Yes.
I mean, that's okay with this shake hands or not shake hands or whatever. If this attitude is behind, it doesn't matter if you do or not. You know? But this process is what I wanted to.
That's to know what he is interested in, or interested what he likes.
Yeah.
Yeah, for example.
Yeah.
If you can manage to get that far.
But also, if I may say, it's very important that we understand the process that we went through today, because there's a lot of misunderstanding, isn't there, between different cultures. There's a lot of
even with the same culture,
even
same
within
people,
the same culture.
Same
So we hear things, don't we? And then we create our own understanding of what we have heard, although what we have heard may not be correct. So the number one thing I would encourage everyone, all of us to do, myself included, is to do as much research and much independent research as we can about other cultures. So, you know, I mean, I know that a number of people, you have access to the internet here. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So now we have the best resource available now to do our own independent research, and so that we can research about countries, we can research about history, we can research about attitudes, and we become knowledgeable so that we can then talk to people on their level, and we can talk to people about their country, about their history. They want to know more about your history as well. So, I mean, I'm sorry to say this, but they don't only want to hear about Islam. Yeah? You know, remember that you come from the oldest culture in the world. Okay? You come from the oldest culture in the world. The culture which has the longest history in the world. So I would really encourage you to become highly knowledgeable about your culture and your history. You know, I think, you know, in order to connect with people, people are coming all the way to Egypt, and they want to meet you, and they're going to be fascinated to meet you as a human being. They're going to find it amazing that you're so friendly and loving and caring, but they want to know more about your history, your culture. The more you can enrich them with knowledge and understanding that, oh, that's interesting, and then that naturally then leads into a conversation about Islam. You know, have to be careful not to immediately go straight to Islam, because people want to know the bigger picture. Yeah.
Mentioning the interest point in the tourist that with like to start a conversation with the tourist and then go on with the feelings and stuff like that, is his point of interest is the place where he is. Like, for example, if he's at the citizen, so I will not start with talking about Islam, I will start talking about the history of the citizen.
Exactly.
I will start talking about this place and its history.
Exactly.
The owner, who built it, and like that. And because he wants this answer now, then I would like draw a bridge between the information about this place and Islam.
Yes, that's right. That's right. And also, if I may just say, I think it's very good also that you have an armory of other subjects that you can talk about.
Yeah.
So, for example, in England, you know, or in Europe, people are very interested in football, or they're very interested in sport. Sport is huge. You know, they're very interested in entertainment, films, music. You know, if you can talk to people about these sorts of subjects knowledgeably, then immediately, oh, we've got other things to talk about. You're my friend, type of thing. And then you come up with something significant about Prophet Muhammad or Islam, and they go, oh, it's interesting.
Yes, and one thing as well, why did you choose to go to the Citadel? Why did you come here? You know,
Egypt.
yes, but you know, but this focusing on the person again and building a bridge there. Why did you come here? Or what other places have you seen? Or you know, but to understand this person. That's the key.
Well, I'll say something before we get your question. When we ask this kind of question, remember that you are not questioning a person in front of you, and he or she, they are not obligated to give you an answer. Okay? Because you can have a very, very good motive, but the way you approach would be a complete turn off. And I'm afraid to say that we see this all the time in the tourist places. oh, hello, what's your name? Blah, blah, blah. And have you been here before? And all this carry on. No, you have the approach of anyone. It has to be built, as we have been saying and keep repeating, it has to be on his or her level. And again, to initiate interests, it's not necessarily that it would be start with an absolute personal interest, because you don't know the person in front of you to start with to know what personally impressed him or her. You'll break the table this way, please. Just share. Back to the point. No, what I want to say is, and we'll take your question before we before we end the session. That people by nature, human being by nature, they are always scared from what they don't know. Okay? If I don't know anything, and I have to confront something which I don't know, I'll be scared. The problem with Islam for non-Muslims that it is not just they don't know about Islam, but what they heard, it doesn't matter if it is true or not for them, but what they heard is not positive. So you have got two obstacles here you need to remove before you physically can build a bond with the person to talk about Islam. Do you agree?
Yes, indeed, but I have a question.
I want someone to say.
You have to agree.
Carry on, say.
Well, given what you have said right now, so when it comes into practice, the two challenges of understanding his own level of interest and then how to develop in him the interest or inherit an interest to know about Islam. How do I do this in practice?
How you do this in practice? Very
Other
easy.
than
Be very, very natural. They are coming to you, you are not going to them. Why they are coming to you? We'll go back to what Yusuf and Jim said. Why they are coming back to you? There is something interesting ready for them you have. Use this as a first rope and start pulling from it. And according to the response you are getting, you can build it whatever way. We always play it by ear. Do you understand what means play it by ear? When someone listens to a piece of music and then play it according to the hearing?
Attracted by
Yeah. So it is very simple, but we have to put in mind all what we have been saying all day long. We have to put in mind that the person in front of you, although there is a big difference between you and him or you and her, in culture, in the way you are dressed, in the looks, the eyes color, the hair color, whatever, but by the end of the day you share one thing, human. We are all human. Okay?
There is something hidden inside ourselves.
All of us is the same. Yeah, true. So we have got 10 minutes, and normally we'd have asked you to ask questions, blah, 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 blah. But I would like to take the advantage of me asking the questions and you answer rather than the other way around. So I'll bet on whoever I like to bet on. That's my chance. Okay, you all has been tried what we have been talking about today, trying to talk to a non-Muslim person, right? I did, I have one next to me. Okay, and if he doesn't listen, I'll beat him up. But I wouldn't advise you to do this, of course. Anyway, so I would like anyone to volunteer to say a good experience and someone to volunteer to say a very, very bad experience. So we'll start with the female, and then we'll get back to you.
Okay.
Is it a good or bad?
A good experience.
Oh God, you're so positive.
It's related to what you were just saying. There was she was a young German female, about 24 years old. She wasn't the citizen. She was alone. She just likes to travel, and she likes Cairo. And she came to us. She didn't know where to wear her shoes and stuff. We offered her a chair. And then I started talking to her, asked her, are you from Germany? Why did you come here? And I started asking her about her hobbies. Do you like to travel a lot or something? She was a friendly person. And one of the things that always happen at the center, that whenever I ask about a hobby or a job, and I say that I like this too, or I have a friend who does that too, they say, can women, Muslim women, do this in Egypt?
You open the door, yes.
Yes. And at that question, I start talking, and up till now I have her email. She sometimes sends me stuff. She asks about books. I'm trying to be friendly with her, trying to turn into friends. I don't always talk about Islam, just when she asks, or I find the door to talk about her. But it was a really encouraging experience, and it taught me that this is a door that's good to knock on.
So you want a person.
Yes.
Okay. Turn to a negative. I want a negative experience. I'm bad. I'm sure some one of you came to a negative. You are not all angels here, are you? Okay. Any bad experience? Okay. So you are all superstars. No one came through any troubles.
I had a bad experience.
Okay, let's listen to it.
Okay,
And then we'll take Sam.
I once tried to approach a lady. She was an elderly lady, and I told her, "Would you like a gift from us, a gift of books or something?" And once she saw the word Islamic on the store, she started shouting at me at the citizen, "We have enough Muslims at our country. You are trying to Islamize the world. We won't listen to you. You want to get us all retarded." And she just kept shouting at me and then left. It was really nice.
Yeah. I'll stop at that story. In fact, even the people, they don't react the same way. They have it inside them. And we have to be careful. If we approach someone and because they were trying to be polite, or they are scared from our response because they think that we kill them if they didn't respond nicely, I'm serious. So not all the outer positive response you get is real. And we have to understand this. But I would appreciate the courage of that old woman. She hasn't got much to live for, so she spoke out what she wanted. Any other experience?
For myself, I have an experience with one of my friends. He told me that there are three friends for one of his relatives that are from France and they are non-Muslims, and he wants us to share with them and talk to them about Islam. So I asked him exactly about the situation. He told me that the one who we should be focused on is one person. He is a young man, as he was leaving this day going back to France. So I tell him any other of the three we should talk for. He tell me no, we just should focus with this person because the other two are waiting and we can talk to them at another opportunity. So when we go to talking with them, we starting by Rabu, we starting with the young man, we asking him what does he learning, and it was very interesting approach. But the female was sitting and she was not interfering by all means in the discussion, and she was pretending that she is reading and discussing with someone else. And at one point of the discussion, she came and she leads the discussion. So what was the issue here? What was our mistake in this situation? Because she lead us the discussion to a point that I think we go for the discussion related to the Islamic background and the Sharia and how the Egyptians want.
So it is more like an argument rather than a discussion.
Rather than the discussion. So I after I come out of the discussion because this was not planned. So after I was out from the discussion, I find that I should not by all means going for this discussions because we should agree first at the general. If you are wanting to know about Islam, there are general concepts much more important and much more simple than going for these details. If you agree on this concept, we can further go for the other details. So I think this was one of the learning points, but it was a negative experience because we don't go on the right track.
So you found the female has got more resistance than men.
She was very resistant. She was very knowledgeable, but very resistant.
Okay, from what you just said and from what our sister here said, I'll ask you all to look back at this. What's the difference between the male feedback of a story and a female feedback of a story? The male is short and direct. Yeah. The female turns around and has got imagination and vision. No, that's natural. No, that's facts. I'm not accusing anyone of anything. We are talking about facts. So the whole point is why we don't benefit from what God has given us as part of our nature. If that's the female style and that's the male style, why we don't use this? If we know, if we can recognize it now, we all can recognize this, right?
Yes.
So why don't we use it to our advantage? I'm not picking on anyone, not yet, but I'm just telling what we can benefit from. We have been through things. I believe during the day-to-day, although it was only a few hours we have been together, but we covered a lot because we have been honest with each other. We didn't kind of give, like, all the lovey-dovey stories and all the positive here and positive there. No, we have been honest. So what would we benefit from this? A male has got a character, a female has got a character. When we start dealing with a male or a female, if we have on the back of our mind who we are dealing with, it's not just the culture, as we said, and the history, and knowing the country, but differentiating between male and female as a way of resisting what you are offering or accepting what you are offering. Do you agree?
Yes.
And may I say one thing?
Yeah.
To conclude my things, is I'm convinced that the interest for another human being is the strongest thing you can. It's just that's stronger than everything else. It's just they're so curious to experience this. Who is he? Who is she? Who is he? This deep inside, consciously and unconsciously, we are longing for meeting people who understand us, whom we can understand, and this is so elementary. I once was in a swimming pool, and there was a mother with a very little child, about 4 or 5 months old, and she was in the water, and I was going around the basin, and this little child, by chance, caught my eyes, looked at me, and when I went there, it turned the head on the arm of the mother, and I went around the basin, and the head of the child turned and turned and turned. I thought, ooh, it will turn off, Could not slip the sight of my eyes, So interested is the human being in another human being. And that's something, I think that's something so precious, so powerful. Yeah, and we can use it.
Okay? So, any questions? Because we'll break after we take whatever question, we'll break for Maghrib prayers, then we'll come for the last session. Anyone wants to ask anything, you need to say who you are asking from three of us, okay? Okay, maybe.
Okay. I just want to ask you, from my very short experience, when they read free Islamic books, those with Islamophobia, they turn, it's a turn off for them. But if I say, get a free book, and then they come and they discover that it's about Islam, after they see my friendly attitude, they might take a book. But just from away, when they read free Islamic book, they won't come, most of them.
What did you just say?
I'm suggesting to say get a free book instead of get a free Islamic
How
book.
did you describe them at the beginning of your questions that they have got Islamophobia?
Yes.
So we have to
I
find
mean,
out.
some of them. I don't know.
No, I'm talking about this specific type. By the way, is that question for me or for someone?
from
I think
anyone.
James would be better than me in this area
Okay.
because by the end of the day we are all Muslim and talking about. No, he has got the right to answer this.
So what the question is about Islamic books and
Like, I'm asking which is more attractive for you as a non-Muslim to read on the bookshelf, free Islamic books or get a free book, and then when you approach me and you see my friendly attitude, then you might want to get a book.
Because the tags.
I mean, just reading Islamic, maybe it would be like a turn off.
well, it's difficult to say because the thing is, you know, free books is a nice thing. Yeah, free books.
Like, get a free book is better
That's
than
good.
free
And
Islamic.
you know, I mean, I would be most interested to receive a book that was a book about the history of Egypt, and then you know, melting in the development and the life of Islam in Egypt.
No, I mean, we will not offer except Islamic books, but what would, like, your eye would be more caught easily for get a free book? Because
Free
I
book.
got this
I think
comment
I
from-
tend to agree
from-
that you know, if free Islamic books, well, you know, free books is I think it's a little bit more interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sorry, I'd have to add something. As we all know, when we go to the shops, especially in Khan Khalili and tourist places and things like this, they don't really care what we want. They always call you to get inside and entertain you and give you a
That's my
tea,
point.
blah, blah, blah. And then, either you like to buy or not, you feel obligated to watch the goods.
Yeah, to listen and see.
To watch
Yeah.
the goods. So by the end of the day, if you want the goods and you like any of it, you'd buy. If you don't, you'll go. But in the back of your mind, you'd always remember the goods you did watch.
Exactly. This is my point.
So I think you're right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions?
Yes. To Western culture.
So I'm out of it.
So there is two ways to invite to talk about Islam with tourists. Direct way or the indirect way to start to get to know you, your culture, and other. So I have assigned like my colleague said that free Islamic books. So this way, I was just walking around, not getting into the point. Is this a suitable way for the Western mind? Do you have time to go through with me in this conversation, or you want me to cut it short, or to be to the point? Which way is to be better way to approach you to the Western mind?
Before both of them answer you, I'd ask you a question. Would it be the same way your response to something I try to do with you, like the one next to you, although you are both Egyptian and you are all Muslim and you are almost the same age?
No.
No. Thank you.
No, this is not. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I didn't get my answer.
No, they will answer. No, they will answer.
So,
But I want to put brackets on around your question before they answer.
okay.
You didn't get it.
No.
Okay, let me explain. No, in any culture, in any country, even in the same house, how many brothers and sisters do you have? Four. If I approach you, would I get the same response if I use the same exact approach with one of your brothers?
No.
Did you get the answer? Still not?
My
Not
different
compared.
reactions from
Yes.
each
I want to say that, for example, I work with Japanese people.
Mm.
They have a common thing between them that in the culture, in their culture, well, you don't shake hands. What the example you said,
Yeah.
shaking hands, and this is a common thing. Yes, it might be different from one or another, okay. But there's a general idea, a general understanding, a common culture between them. So this is why I'm asking this.
No, I understand your question, and I didn't answer your question. I frame it. I didn't answer it. We agreed that you get the answer from one of them. What I wanted to say is that although what you are saying is correct and it is right, but even within the same culture, with the same common customs or whatever, there is difference. Okay? But we can benefit from having that general culture or the general habits of certain nationality, like Japanese, for example.
Yeah.
You do this, you wouldn't shake hand, for example. But the individual, as Yusuf was saying, and James in fact confirmed this, you have to deal with whoever in front of you as individual, not according to his nationality or religion or his looks. So that's the frame I'm trying to put. But you still have got a valid question which they will answer. No, do you understand?
Yeah.
Do we all understand what we are trying to explain here? Yeah. Who would volunteer to give the answer?
I would like to hear the both. Yeah.
Okay.
I have a comment.
Yeah.
He may is asking this question because before you have said that we should know the culture before we understand. That's why, because he may not know the European culture, he's asking them just to know which way they are preparing.
No, I totally agree on his question. I don't deny him the question. It's just I want to give a chance to frame it like we understand that although we say this, but by the end of the day you deal with a human being, with individual, with one person. You are not dealing with the whole culture. We are all Egyptian, okay? Alhamdulillah, we are all Muslim. We have different habits. The way I approach the lady sitting next to you might work. If I use the same way with you, although you are more or less the same, it wouldn't work. So his question is valid. I'm not against his question.
I think what you mentioned, Dr. Muntasir, is that even if I know the exact culture of this candidate and I know the approach and the game, I should consider that within this culture there are differences.
Yeah, what he's saying is right, but we need to make more effort. That's what I'm trying to hint to. But I'll leave the answer to James and Yusuf, and then we'll go for the break.
All I would say is that it's all about developing individual rapport with each person. So it's not like a machine. I mean, obviously you never do a machine approach, but it's not a machine approach. It's you're an individual, I'm an individual, and you've got to develop a great skill of reading people. You've got to develop a great skill of, as you look at someone, reading them, their body language, the way they look, the way they dress, everything. You have to become a studier of people, an expert in people, and then you can immediately mold yourself according to the way their energy is. Have you heard of neuro-linguistic programming?
Yes.
Neuro-linguistic programming? Yeah. So neuro-linguistic programming is effectively a way of developing rapport with someone where you mirror them. You mirror them. And so, the essence of neuro-linguistic programming is that if you and I are sitting at a table and I'm going to develop rapport with you, I'm going to sit like this, right? So you've got to develop a way of reading people as you see them, and then just being with them and create and the right energy, right? So if they're fast talking, you've got to be quite fast talking, yeah. If they're low energy, you've got to be low energy. You've got to pick up all this stuff very quickly to develop rapport. Otherwise, they see you as not someone like them. And so they are highly resistant.
Barriers.
Yeah, barriers. So you've just got to become expert at reading people. And the more you do it, the better you'll become. But you've got to, Montasser has taught me a lot, right? And one of the things he's taught me is to see beyond the situation the whole time. See beyond the situation, see the bigger picture. And that's what you've got to develop the skill of, seeing the bigger picture the whole time. The wider environment that this person is in. You have to develop your senses high. It takes time, but you will be able to do it because human beings are very massively capable of having high levels of sensitivity.
I like the last phrase you said. We have got loads of capabilities and skills, but we ourselves, we don't know what we have until there is a situation or someone else explain or tell us that we have it. And for many of us, it will be shocking to know how much we are capable of doing things which we never thought that we can to start with. And that will lead us to perform wudu for Maghrib prayers. Okay, we'll pray Maghrib and we'll come out of that.
والحاجه عشان بس الوقت يعني هو بس احنا متفقين الوقت ان شاء الله ان احنا في 4 في there are 4 will be selected for the further trainer training. Okay, and all of us will take the certificate, but 4 of us only will have the credit. Okay, so the selection of this 4 will have many steps so as to have common standards that we rely on to select this. Okay, so the first thing that during the coming week we will be sharing several topics regarding communication. Okay,